do you think it says you did wrong?
That I caused the death of Margaret Douglas.
Do you understand? Count 2 states that on or about the 6th day of April 2018 in Medina County, Ohio, you purposely did cause the death of Margaret M. Douglas while committing or attempting to commit aggravated burglary in violation of Section 2903.01B of the Revised Code, contrary to the statute in such cases made and provided and against the peace and dignity of the state of Ohio. Do you understand count 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you think it says you did wrong?
That I caused the death of Margaret Douglas.
Count 3 of the indictment states that on or about the 6th day of April 2018 in Medina County, Ohio, you purposely did cause the death of Margaret M. Douglas while committing or attempting to commit kidnapping in violation of Section 2903.01B of the Revised Code, contrary to the statute in such cases made or provided and against the peace and dignity of the state of Ohio. Do you understand count 3?
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you think it says you did wrong?
That I caused the death of Margaret Douglas.
Count 4 of the indictment states that on or about the 6th day of April 2018 in Medina County, Ohio, you purposely did cause the death of Margaret M. Douglas while committing or attempting to commit a trespass in a habitation when a person is present or likely to be present in violation of Section 2903.01B of the Revised Code, contrary to the statute in such cases made and provided and against the peace and dignity of the state of Ohio. Do you understand the nature of the charge set forth in count 4?
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you think it says you did wrong?
That I caused the death of Margaret Douglas.
Count 5 of the indictment states that on or about the 6th day of April 2018 in Medina County, Ohio, you unlawfully did purposely cause the death of Margaret M. Douglas in violation of Section 2903.02A of the Revised Code, contrary to the statute in such cases made and provided and against the peace and dignity of the state of Ohio. Do you understand the nature of the charge set forth in count 5?
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you think it says you did wrong?
That I caused the death of Margaret Douglas.
Count 6 of the indictment states that on or about the 6th day of April 2018 in Medina County, Ohio, you unlawfully did cause the death of Margaret M. Douglas as a proximate result of you committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, aggravated burglary, in violation of Section 2903.02B of the Revised Code. Do you understand the nature of the charge set forth against you in count 6 of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you believe it says you did wrong?
That I caused the death of Margaret Douglas.
Count 7 of the indictment states that on or about the 6th day of April 2018 in Medina County, Ohio, you unlawfully and knowingly did, by force, stealth, or deception, trespassing 359 40th Street, Wadsworth, Ohio, an occupied structure, or a separately secured or separately occupied portion of an occupied structure, when another person other than your accomplice is present, with purpose to commit therein a criminal offense, and you inflicted or attempted or threatened to inflict physical harm on Margaret Douglas, this being a felony of the first degree. Do you understand the nature of the charge set forth against you in count 7 of the indictment?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think it says you did wrong?
That I entered Margaret Douglas' house while she was present.
Count 8 of the indictment states that on or about the 6th day of April 2018 in Medina County, Ohio, you did by force, threat, or deception, knowingly, under circumstances creating a substantial risk of serious physical harm to Margaret M. Douglas, did restrain Margaret M. Douglas of her liberty and did not release her to a safe place unharmed in violation of Section 2905.01B2 of the Revised Code, a felony of the first degree. Do you understand the nature of the charge set forth against you in count 8 of the indictment?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think it says you did wrong?
That I restrained Margaret Douglas.
Count 9 of the indictment states that on or about the 6th day of April 2018 in Medina County, Ohio, you unlawfully did treat a human corpse in a way that would outrage reasonable community sensibilities in violation of Section 2927.01B of the Revised Code, a felony of the 5th degree. Do you understand the nature of the charge set forth against you in count 9 of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you think it says you did wrong?
That I handled the corpse of Margaret Douglas.
Do you understand that a plea of no contest, while not an admission of your guilt, is an acknowledgement of the truthfulness and accuracy of all of the allegations contained in the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that upon pleading no contest, the court can immediately proceed to find you guilty?
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
upon finding you guilty, the court could immediately choose to impose sentence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the court is not bound by any sentencing agreement which may be reached between the state of Ohio and attorneys advancing on your behalf?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that count 1, that being aggravated murder, carries with it a potential penalty of 20 years to life, 25 years to life, 30 years to life, or life without the eligibility of parole in prison?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that carries with it a potential fine of $25,000 and that a prison term is presumed mandatory.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that count 2 carries with it a possible prison term of 20 years to life, 25 years to life, 30 years to life, or life without the eligibility of parole in prison, and a prison term is mandatory?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand it also carries with it a possible fine of $25,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that count 3 carries with it a possible prison term of 20 years to life, 25 years to life, 30 years to life, or life without the eligibility of parole, and a prison term is mandatory to count 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand it also carries with it a possible fine of $25,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that count 4, again, carries with it a possible prison term of 20 years to life, 25 years to life, 30 years to life, or life without the eligibility of parole, and that a prison term is mandatory?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand it also carries with it a possible fine of $25,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that count 5 carries with it a prison term of 15 years to life? A prison term is mandatory, and it carries with it a maximum fine of $15,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that count 6 also carries with it a prison term of 15 years to life, which is mandatory prison term, and also a potential fine of $15,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that count 7 carries with it a possible prison term of 3 to 11 years in prison? A prison term is not mandatory, but it is presumed necessary, and it carries with it a possible fine of up to $20,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that count 8 also carries with it a prison term of 3 to 11 years in prison? A prison term is not mandatory, but is presumed necessary, and also carries with it a possible fine of $20,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that count 9 carries with it a possible prison term of 6 to 12 months in prison, and a possible fine of $2,500?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that theoretically these terms could be run consecutively, one after another, not necessarily all concurrently, all at the same time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that after you've been to prison, if you were released from prison, count 7 and count 8 carry with it potential periods of post-release control, mandatory post-release control of 5 years?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that count 9 carries with it a possible period of post-release control of 3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that when these mandatory periods of post-release control would be imposed, when they were imposed, if you were released from prison, if you violated the terms of that supervision, the adult parole authority is authorized to return you to prison for up to 9 months for any single violation, aggravated murder and murder?
Yes, ma'am.
Other than what we have discussed here today, has anybody made any promises or threats to induce you to change your plea?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that by entering a plea of no contest, you will be waiving important constitutional rights, including the right to a trial by jury of 12 persons, which would require a unanimous verdict, the right to have your attorney cross-examine witnesses who would appear to testify against you, your right to have subpoenas issued to have witnesses brought to court to testify on your behalf, your right not to testify against yourself, your right not to have your silence used against you to prove your guilt, and your right to require the state of Ohio to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, Your Honor.
And with this knowledge, what plea do you enter today to count 1 of the indictment, aggravated murder in violation of RC 2903.01A?
No contest.
And what plea do you enter today to count 2 of the indictment, aggravated murder in violation of RC 2903.01B?
No contest.
And what plea do you enter to count 3 of the indictment, murder in violation of, count 3 of the indictment, also aggravated murder in violation of RC 2903.01B?
No contest.
And what plea do you enter to count 4 of the indictment for aggravated murder in violation of RC 2903.01B?
No contest.
And what plea do you enter today to count 5 of the indictment for murder in violation of RC 2903.02A?
No contest.
And what plea do you enter to count 6 of the indictment, murder in violation of 2903.02B?
No contest.
And what plea do you enter today to count 7 of the indictment, aggravated burglary in violation of RC 2911.11A1, a felony of the first degree?
No contest.
And what plea do you enter today to count 8, kidnapping in violation of RC 2905.01B2, a felony of the first degree?
No contest.
And what plea do you enter today to count 9, abuse of a corpse in violation of RC 2927.01B, a felony of the 5th degree?
No contest.
I do have here before me your written plea of no contest. Is there anything else that you would like to say as it relates to the change of plea, Attorney Stippians?
No, Your Honor, we would waive the presentation of facts for the hearing.
Anything else you'd like to say as it relates to the change of plea, Prosecutor Thompson?
No, Your Honor.
Let the record reflect the defendant is making a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary decision to withdraw his previously entered pleas of not guilty and his tendered pleas of no contest to one count of aggravated murder in violation of RC 2903.01A, 3 counts of aggravated murder in violation of RC 2903.01B, 1 count of murder in violation of RC 2903.02A, and 1 count of murder in violation of RC 2903.02B, 1 count of aggravated burglary in violation of RC 2911.11A1, a felony of the first degree, 1 count of kidnapping in violation of RC 2905.01B2, a felony of the first degree, and 1 count of gross abuse of a corpse in violation of RC 2927.01B, a felony of the fifth degree. The court finds the defendant has been informed of all of his constitutional rights, that he understands the nature of the charges, the effect of a plea of no contest, as well as the possible penalties which could be imposed. Therefore, the court accepts the defendant's plea of no contest and finds him guilty of 1 count of aggravated murder, finds him in violation of RC 2903.01A, finds him guilty of 3 counts of aggravated murder in violation of 2903.01B, finds him guilty of 1 count of murder in violation of RC 2903.02A, finds him guilty of 1 count of murder in violation of 2903.02B, finds him guilty of 1 count of aggravated burglary in violation of 2911.11A1, a felony of the first degree, finds him guilty of kidnapping in violation of 2905.01B2, a felony of the first degree, and finds him guilty of gross abuse of a corpse in violation of 2927.01B, a felony of the fifth degree. I will order a pre-sentence investigation. I will schedule this for a mitigation.
1, we request that the defendant be transferred immediately from the juvenile detention facility to be held in the county jail pending finalization of sentencing. And the second, we ask that the court lift the previously imposed gag order.
On behalf of the defendant, do you have any objection to the defendant being transferred to the county jail at this time?
I do, Your Honor. The revised code says that the detention center is a particular establishment for housing juveniles accused of crime, and that juveniles accused of that crime can be held at the juvenile detention center until such time as they are actually sentenced or disposed of. Because he has not yet been sentenced and will not be sentenced until January 3rd, I would ask the court to allow him to remain in the custody of the juvenile detention center. He's had no problems while being at the detention center. I spoke this morning to the assistant superintendent. They've had no objections with his behavior there, and there is no issue with him continuing to stay there. I would ask that the court allow him to remain there.
I believe that is up to the discretion of the court. The defendant has now been convicted of these matters. He is no longer accused, so the court will order they be transferred to the county jail. Any objection to the lifting of the gag order?
Your Honor, because we have a sentencing hearing and mitigation scheduled for January 3rd, I would ask that the gag order be continued until the case is ultimately disposed of.
Prosecutor Thompson?
Your Honor, the sole purpose that the defense established the gag order under and requested was to protect the potential jury pool. That issue is now behind us. There is no constitutional basis prohibiting the distribution of the information in this matter. Therefore, the gag order has run its usefulness, and we would ask that it be lifted.
The court will lift the gag order at this time as there is no potential for prejudice to the jury pool in this matter. Anything else at this time on behalf of the state of Ohio?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything else on behalf of the defendant?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. We are adjourned.
I don't think there really is an explanation to begin with. I think about it all the time. And I would take it back in a heartbeat if I could. I feel terrible for what I've done. And I would never do anything like that again. I'm so sorry for what I did. I constantly live in regret and shame because of it. wish I had the words to express how sorry I really am.